Hello there. I just wanted to do a quick video about some of the things that you can do with BrightArrow. It's a new messaging system that we have integrated within PowerSchool, and you've probably seen it right now. So let's take a look at what PowerSchool is. I've logged in, and over here, these are the BrightArrow icons. And you'll see that one of them, this first row says students, and then over here it says parents. This one, when you can email all of the students in a specific class, and over here you can email all of the parents in a specific class. So we'll walk through the student one first. So let's take a look here. So I'm just going to look into my advisory and I'm going to send out an email to all of the students in my advisory. So I clicked on that button and then this new window pops up. So in here, there's a bunch of different customizable fields. So the first thing I'm going to do in this list name, just so I can go back and look at it later and see what this is really referring to, is say that this is my advisory. That way, when I'm looking back through reports, it'll make sense that I've sent this one to my advisory. And the message name, this is something that's optional in here. Maybe I'm going to send an email to all the students about scheduling their I times, a little quick reminder. So I'll write that in there, once again, optional. It'll be useful later for when we're looking back through the emails to see which one corresponds to what. So then in the text email, that's what I'm going to write down here. You have two different options. One is to just do a basic text, and one is to do an HTML if you want like formatting and stuff. And I'll click on this one a little bit later, so you'll be able to see what that one looks like. So I'm just going to do something in the text. I already have a pre-made one that I'm just going to put over here. So I'm just going to say, here we go. Hello, happy Friday. If you have any iTime requests for next week, please let me know so I can schedule you. See you on Monday, Rob. That way I can send it out to all of my students. If you want to personalize it a little bit, maybe in here I can add in the student name. There's this mail merge field here that I can click down on, and it has some drop down fields. So the one that here says first name, that's helpful to me. I can insert that one in here, and now it'll say hello, and then whatever the student's name is. It'll pull that straight from PowerSchool. There's a bunch of other fields in there. You can take a look at any of those that you're interested in. I'll show you where to see what those bottom ones are going to be called a little bit later. So then down here, I'm going to look at my previews. If you want to, playing on the computer, it'll read this, so it'll be able to read those to you. And then you can preview the email. You can have it emailed to you to see what it looks like, but right now I don't need to do that. If you do some HTML formatting, then that might be something of interest to you. I'm going to send this one right away, but if you want to pre-schedule it, you certainly can. You can go in here and say, I want it to send at this certain time. The reason it has an end time in here is that the way that this works is it'll send out an email, and then if it doesn't get a response from that email address, maybe it's undeliverable, it'll send it back again. And this one, it'll keep on trying until a specific time period. For what I'm doing right now, that's not needed. The email subject, these things are all optional for you to change, but I'd rather have it go to my students and have it say something that's a little bit more personal than just this. So the email subject, we'll change this one to scheduling iTime. Display name, email name, if it comes in, it's going to currently say to them, notification from Keene School District SAU 29. I'd rather have it say that it's from me. So I'm just going to say that it's coming from Tebow. Display the email address. Right now, this is what the email address is. I have no problem if they want to respond to the email address and resend to me. If you leave this blank, it'll not be a deliverable email for them to respond to. I'm going to change all of that, and I'm just going to change it to my email address. Then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to send that message now. It'll take a little minute, it'll come up here and it'll say, do you really want to send that or do you want to change that? And I'm going to say that I want to send the message. You'll see that it'll pause. This might take a few minutes for it to go through and do. Once it does, it'll say that it is starting to go through, and this is currently saying that it's doing all of that transmitting. It is sending it out to individuals. There's a bunch of background work that it's doing as well, which is why it takes a little bit of time to go through and process. Currently it says that it is sent. It's sent at 10/8/21. We're good to go. From here, if you wish, you can look at the reports from it. So I'm going to do this little select an action. I'm going to look at that drop-down menu. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to look at what reports says. I'm going to click on reports. This is what I was talking about, labeling those a little bit about what they actually refer to. So these were a bunch of test emails that I've already sent out. But if you scroll back down, knowing that this one refers to missing assignments is helpful. If you leave it as Power School Selection, it's very difficult for me to understand what any of those things meant. So scrolling back through those in the history is a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to look back at my advisory one. This is the email that I just sent. It'll pull up a window. Currently tells me that this is what the note was that was sent out to all the students. And then the date, the time that it was actually delivered, and what the result was. If this is something that's undeliverable, maybe the email address is wrong in PowerSchool, or the inbox is full, or it's something that's not maintained, then I would get something that says undeliverable here. That means that I would know that I would have to reach out to the student. So here it tells me that this went to Jack Frost. There was their email address. It says that the email was sent successfully, so I know that the email went out to those individuals. So kind of a nice little thing to look at here just to verify that it does. If you have parents or students saying, "Oh, I didn't get that email," you can look back here and say, "Well, it was sent to you. Did you check your email?" And that'll probably turn out to be something on their end. So that's how you can send an email, sort of the nuts and bolts of it from a student point of view. So I'm going to go back to PowerSchool. Now I'm going to email all of the parents. So I'm going to go over here and say, all right, well, now I'm going to do the parents. It comes up with a window that looks exactly the same. The list name, once again, this here is dealing with my advisory. And then maybe I'm going to email all of the parents for a, maybe I'll call it parent email for field trip. The text email, I'll put the text in here as well. Maybe I'll make it, hello, our class is going to be taking a field trip to the Colonial Theater. I sent a permission home with your student today. Those can be turned back in, great. Once again, that's a little bit more generic. You can be a little bit more specific with those mail merge fields. So instead of saying with your student, maybe I'd rather have it say their name specifically. So I can insert their first name, and now it'll say I sent a permission home with whatever the student's name is. For mine, Jack Frost. So it'll say I sent a permission slip home with Jack, and I can say, well, maybe not today, maybe I'll put the specific date in there. So I'll go over here and I'll say today. And now it'll say I sent a permission slip home with Jack, and then use today's date, which is the 8th of October. So there you go. So this pretty useful. The rest of this stuff down here is the same. Email subject, I can change that. So I can say field trip for Tebow's class. The display email name, I can once again say that that is from Tebow. Since I'm sending this out to parents, maybe I would want to put my full name in there. Displaying the email address, I'll once again put that as my email contact. Send that message. Same window pops up here saying, do you really want to do it? I'll click yes. It's processing the same kind of stuff, and I'll show you what the report looks like here for the teacher as well. Starting to send all those emails. You'll probably hear my email ding since I'm referred to as Jack's parent in PowerSchool. So now all the emails went out. Going here, I can now look at the report. Bring up the report, go to advisory. This is the email I just sent. Now it says that it sent out 3 emails because it sent it out to all of the parent contacts that are in PowerSchool. So Kim Baker is still in PowerSchool as Jack Frost's guardian. I am in there as Jack Frost's guardian, and this test77 at test77.com is also in there as Jack Frost's guardian. So it sent it out to all of them, and you can see what the message looks like. So it'll show you all the total emails. It'll show you anything that is unreachable there as well. If something's unreachable, well, then you can reach out to those parents and say, well, maybe something isn't quite right in PowerSchool, so let's get that addressed. So that's how you can email through PowerSchool for both students and parents using BrightArrow. The next thing that BrightArrow can do is over here, it can do some searching where it searches through not just a single class, but you can group some classes together, or you can search for specific criterion. So let's click on that one. Looking through here, I can search through all of my enrolled students. So this way I can send it out to all of the students in all of my classes at the same time. Maybe I'm having, I don't know, an iTime that is specific for something else, or I want to email them and let them know that I have a PLC in a specific day, so I'm unavailable. So I can email out to all of the enrolled students in a class. I can also look down here and say, well, maybe I want to target some students with specific final grades. So let's say we look at final grade. And you can choose any of those reporting terms that you want to. I will keep it as the Q1. It says that that's the default because we're currently in quarter 1. Percent range, I'm going to put it between 0 and 64.5. That's all of the failing grades. Next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to choose from the section here. So click that drop down menu and see what the sections are. I chose all sections here, and the all sections is useful. That'll go through every one of the students that I have. So it turns out that right now I have one student that is failing, and it'll send out that email to just that one student. So now over here I can select any grade level that you want to, any gender if you want to, the who, this is an important one, students only or parents only. Maybe I want to send this out to students only and say, FYI, the quarter is closing soon and you need to make sure you bring your grade up. Or I can send it out to a parent, maybe this is at the end of the semester, saying, your student does not appear to be meeting the prereqs for the next course, so maybe they need to relearn and reassess or something to that effect. I'm going to choose something for parent only, and I'm going to choose just parents. The type is a useful one. Type is going to send out an email or a phone. I'm going to only email. And now I'm going to choose the create a message. So I selected create message, and it's coming up with our familiar window. List name is for the final grades. Maybe I'll change that to final grades for Q1. It currently says that there is one student there. If you click on that, it'll tell you who that one student happens to be. So it says that my one student is Jack Frost. So I want to continue to edit my message, so I'm going to edit that prior message. Here you can type in the text to an email. Since I'm sending this to parents, maybe my message is going to be something like this. So I say, hello, I wanted to reach out and let you know that your child is not passing their math course. Please check Power School for specific information. It's a little bit on the generic side. You can customize it with some of those mail merge fields. So if you click on the mail merge fields, you'll see that down here it says field 1, field 2, field 3, etc. But it'd be nice to know what those fields are, and we have access to some of those. We've already talked a little bit about the first name one, so I can add that in there as well. So I can say, hello, guardian of, and then I can insert their first name. I want to reach out and let you know that, I'll put the first name there as well, is not passing their math course. Since this goes out to all of my students, maybe I don't want to just put in what the specific math course is. Maybe in this list size, there's a bunch of different courses. Well, one of those filters in there, one of these fields, is in fact course name. Let's see which one that is. Up here it says mail merge fields, and you'll notice that there's a little drop down menu here. So I'm just going to choose that. And it says what those drop down fields are. So course name pulls from Power School, and it says what field 4 is their course name. So now I know if I go down here and I say I wanted to reach out and let you know that your student is not passing, well, now I can put in their course name. So I can put in field 4, and it's going to pull that from Power School. It's going to say, well, this is what your F is in. It is in whatever course they are assigned for it, and it'll say that this is what they are not passing. So that's pretty handy. I can also customize it a little bit more, since this says that it pulls in the percentage. So I can say, I wanted to let you know and reach out and say that, in my case, Jack is not passing, he's failing advisory. And I can say with a grade of, and then I can look at that and say, well, it pulls the percent from gradebook. So I'm going to pull that field 7. And now it's a little bit more customizable. Checking Power School for specific information, that's probably still useful to be in there. That way they can know what assignments they're missing and why they're missing out on that information. That's good. All of these email things are the same. So email subject, I'm going to put not passing mathematics. Email, once again, I'm sending to parents, so maybe I'll keep it a little bit more formal. And I'll change that to SAU 29. This will look super similar. Pause for dramatic effect. Now it says that it's starting to send out those emails. Once it does, I'll show you what it looks like from the parent point of view. So it's good. Let me just confirm that I actually did send out all of those emails. Go to the reports. Pull up the reports for that specific final grades for Q1 that I wanted. It does say that it sent it out, so it did say that it sent it out to me so I can check in that email. And this is what the email looks like. So it turns out that it's from Robert Thibault. It's called Not Passing Mathematics. If I click on that, it'll give me the specifics. So it tells me, hello, guardian of Jack. It filled in the student's first name. I wanted to reach out and let you know that Jack, once again, the student's first name, is not passing advisory. That was the course that Jack was failing with a grade of 0. Turns out Jack's not doing too well. Please check PowerSchool for some more information. So one of the nice things about BrightArrow is it's pretty customizable. It's fairly user-friendly and easy to go through and send some emails. So let's go back and let's look at BrightArrow again, and let's look at one of the additional search features that we can do. So we go back into, once again, I went over here to BrightArrow search. I'm going to once again look through all of my students, but this time I'm going to look for missing assignments. So missing assignments is going to look here and say, all right, well, how many students in the last 7 days in Q1 are missing any kind of assignment? So I can include absences if I want to. Maybe I've tagged them as an absence in there. Maybe I've just put it in there as collected. I'm not going to include those. That's something that I may have collected but not graded yet. If a student is exempt, I don't want to send out an email to them because they're exempt from it. Same thing here, incompletes or lates. So I'm just going to have any of those missing assignment tabs. So if you go into PowerSchool and you go through and you enter the assignment as missing, this will pull from there. Same features down here that you can select. Change this to all sections. And now I can say, all right, well, I have one student who's missing assignments from Q1. So maybe I can send out a contact to parents. Select email on that one. For the contacts, select parents. Create a message in here. And this is now going to pull any student who is missing an assignment. So I can go through, same sort of features in here, and then maybe this will be what my generic statement is going to be. I had already created it before. So good afternoon, I wanted to reach out and let you know that I'll fill in your child with first name. That in this case, Jack, has missed at least one assignment in the last week. Check PowerSchool for more details. Hope we can make these up so we have a good understanding of the course material before our interim next week. And this seems pretty good. It's not a terrible thing so far, but there are some more customizable features that we can do with missing assignments. So similarly in here, there's a bunch of these fields, but now that I've changed this to missing assignments, some of those field names have changed. So I still have course name, I still have section, but one of the nice things is it looks through and it says, well, what assignment from what date is that student missing? So I can say, well, let's select the assignment, let's select the due date in here, and I can show what those two things are. So I can say in here, from the last week, I can say, since field 6 is the assignment, I can insert that in. And I can say the assignment that was due on, and then insert the due date, which was field 7. So this is going to go through and pull it out from PowerSchool with what that grade is and missing assignment name. So email subject, maybe I'll put this as missing assignments. display email name as. Once again, I'll change this to the formal one. My email address, I'll keep that in as rtbo@sau29, and then we'll send that message. Going through and setting things up, getting ready to send it. It is now starting to send those emails. Once that says done, I'll check the report. So I'll go up here again to select an action, go to reports. Look at the one that I just have created. It's called missing assignments. Looking there, it says that it has sent it out successfully. Email sent successfully to all of those 3 contacts, the same 3 Guardian contacts for Jack. Now I can go back to my email and go back to look at what it looks like. So here is another email from me about missing assignments. And now I can see we have good afternoon. I wanted to reach out and let you know that Jack had filled in the first name, has missed at least 1 assignment in the last week. And then the assignment that it pulled was quarterback analysis that Jack has missed that was due on the 7th of October. So, that's what was the due date of it was missing. So I hope that we can make these up soon, and etc. So it's nice to be able to pull some of those fields and give very specific information without me having to go through and hunt and peck for it. So that is the emailing feature of BrightArrow. And there's one last thing that I said that I would show. So I'm going to go back into BrightArrow. I'm just going to create a generic one for my advisory students. And I said that I'd show you this HTML. So I'm going to click on this HTML option. The reason you might want to choose HTML is if you have something specifically formatted for you to add in here. This gives you a little bit more of those customizable features in here. So some of the things that I can do from here, I can paste from a Word document. You see this little clipboard with a W there. So Word or Google Docs, it'll try and preserve much of that formatting that it shows. This one here will just paste plain text. So even if I want to pull it from a Word or a Google Doc, this will just paste it as plain text. And this is sort of like a hybrid. It sort of pastes what's there and then sort of guesses on some of the formatting. But if you're pasting from a Word or a Google Doc, choosing this one is a pretty nice feature. You can also go through and just format your own email in here using these format options that are available in here, changing the characteristics of that formatting. The font type, etc., size. You can add in pictures if you wish. You can put in tables. You can customize quite a bit. So I'm going to show you what it looks like if I copy and paste from a Google Doc. So I'll go and highlight one of my Google Docs that I have open. And then I will go over here and I'll click that paste from Word or Google Doc. I am going to paste all of that stuff right in. Click OK, and it preserved some of that formatting. Messed up a little bit on it, but it was pretty close. I can change this. I can center it as if I want to. It adds in a few more spaces, so I can clean those spaces up. But it looks pretty close to what the original document was that I wanted. Once you're happy with what the message looks like, you can go ahead and customize these features just like we've seen before. Click OK. And it'll bring you right back to the same window that we've seen before. One thing I would recommend doing from here is going through and previewing that email to make sure that the formatting is the way that you want it to be. And then you can go back and you can edit as needed. All those other options are still available down there. That's about it for the basics of BrightArrow. There are some other features in some of those drop downs that I did not show. Feel free to browse through those and take a look if you wish. You can always send out an email to me if you have specific questions, and I'll be more than happy to help. Till then, good luck.